What's up, everyone? My name is Joshua T. Berglan, and welcome to Spoken Word Live. We are live on multiple platforms right now, and some of the places I'm supposed to be live, it didn't go live because, well, every time I use this streaming software, there's a problem. Oy vey. Anyway, welcome. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Hope you had an amazing weekend. And I've realized that the last 6 broadcasts or so, I've completely gone off of what I was originally planning on doing, which happens with me because I get bored, and every time I think I'm going to stick to a script, so to speak, I change it. Because originally I was just going to draw the word, talk, and then be done. And then it turned into this whole thing where I would talk, opening up the broadcast for a while, and then I go, oh God, I'm 30 minutes in and didn't spend any time on the word. But ironically, all the things that I was talking about ahead of drawing the word ended up tying into the word that I drew. So, I don't know what that's all about, but here I am. So, for the sake of, I'm going to try to go back to the original way I wanted to do this to see how I do. And the main reason today is I am not getting a head cold. I am not struggling to talk. I am not struggling to breathe. I am perfectly healthy. Yes. Anyway, so. And by the way, I think today, tomorrow, and Wednesday will be the only lives of the week, depending on how I feel, because I get to take a little trip to find out if my girlfriend's a robot or not. Only those on Facebook will know what that means. Actually, no, that's not true. Some people on X know about it too. Anyway, she's not really a robot, but I don't think I'd care at this point. Because, never mind. I'm not going to go into a bio-digital convergence conversation now. Oh, God help me. What's the word here? Resilience. Well, it's a good word. I'm going to need some help with this one. Resilience. I mean, we are so much stronger than we think we are. I can't tell you how many times, and I'm going to make this about me for a second, but at the same time, talk about me to talk about you. How many times in my life, I can sit here and think about all the different times in my life that I thought it was over. The overdoses, the jails, the divorces, the loss. And every time, it was this new version of rock bottom, because the whole notion of, oh, I hit rock bottom and I changed my life. If you've only hit rock bottom once in your life, you're not trying hard enough. Because there's lots of rock bottoms to hit. I think, especially when you're trying to pursue something that you believe in your heart that you were created to do. You choose that path. I believe there's lots of rock bottoms. But rock bottom is not really a scary place once you've been there a few times and you realize where you get to rise from. I love symbolism so much. I think about the phoenix symbolism, and I know some people look at that and go, oh, it's evil. I hate those conversations so much. But I think about all the different times that have just, from the gutter, the ditch, the despairs of losing oxygen and not being able to breathe and thinking that it's over, like that. And then somehow getting down there to the depths of despair where there's no way out And then all of a sudden finding this spark to rise again. I don't know if resilience is something that we can take credit for. I think about all the different Rocky movies and all the different movies that are out there that show somebody down and out. They're knocked out, they can't breathe, the ribs are broken, they can't move their arm, and somehow they rise up and to get one last good punch in to win. And mind you, that's the Hollywood version of winning. Sometimes is the dramatic rising from death or the absolute impossibility of recovery, but yet here you are, you rise again. Hollywood has glamorized it, but the truth is that it kind of feels like that. And I don't know if it's that silent voice that says, get up, you're not done. I'm not finished with you yet. I don't know what it is, because it's been something different every time, but it's almost been like it's a supernatural force. Has my resilience, and I'm resilient. I know I'm resilient. Like, I kind of thrive now. I look at chaos and I look at every obstacle now. I'm just like going, gosh, okay, dadgummit, another one. But here we go. This is just a new challenge. There's just becomes this knowing that if I can pull myself up somehow and at least take a step forward, then that momentum is going to kick back in and I'm going to start running again. I don't know why. For me, it feels like I've needed to hit rock bottom so many times to be able to hit the ground running again, but there we go. I don't know if that's just to show me that it can be done. I don't know what it's like in other people's experience, but I do know that every one of us are way stronger than we think. I have so many people that I'm close to now, which is like a new thing for me. But I get to talk to all of these amazing people, and including the people that I'm closest to. And I hear what they go through every day, and I hear about their fight, and I hear about their struggle, and I hear them verbalize, just how stressed out and, like they're losing their minds. And then, but I'm watching their actions and I'm going, you may be saying something, but your actions are showing that you are absolutely prepared for this. Like, you are showing me that you were created to overcome anything thrown in your way. But aren't we all? I don't believe for a second that any of the obstacles that come in our path, including the ones that we place there themselves, because, it's one thing to blame addiction for certain issues. Like, oh, I was a drug addict and now I have these mental health issues. And like, we're still responsible for our actions. Mental illness or not, addiction or not, we are still responsible for our actions. So sometimes we are the ones that dig our own graves. We're the ones that make things harder than they need to be. Guilty. 100% guilty of that. I've made things challenging beyond the need to be challenging. And yet at the same time, as hard as I've made things on myself over the years, I still find a way to overcome. Every one of us, like these obstacles that come in our path, as frustrated as we get, have you ever noticed that those obstacles, I know I just stopped what I was saying to say something else, but have you ever noticed how these obstacles that come in our path, like, they never actually go anywhere? We can run from it. Like, we can take the path and go, or I'm gonna avoid you. But then what happens is we end up facing it again anyway. As much as we try to run away, to get away from to get away from that giant, it still shows up in our path. But we can decide to face it. And then we face that giant, we face that obstacle, and that obstacle kicks our butt a little bit. But have you ever noticed that each time you get back up to face that giant, you make a little bit more progress in taking it out? That's resilience. That's where you build resilience. Refinement comes in resilience, comes through resilience. That's why this whole notion of this desire to be perfect and to show the world, like, even that is one of the greatest deceptions of all, is to try to pretend that we're perfect. There's no refining in perfection. If we hit perfection, then what's the point of trying anything else? Like, part of the joy in pursuing perfection is the failure, is the realizing that we can do better, because it gives us a reason to keep growing. Because then we realize there's more to overcome, there's more challenges to face. And for everything that we overcome, the bigger the next obstacle becomes. But then with that becomes a growing confidence that, okay, this is a big challenge, but I can overcome this too. And eventually the challenges become as amazing of an experience as the victories. The victories, if anything, nowadays feel more anticlimactic than the challenges. There comes this time in the journey of pursuing our purpose and being refined and building our resilience and building our strength. There comes this time where that feeling of, like, I think of like two giant swords. I've been watching Vikings way too much, but two swords, it's like, and like with each bam, each clash of the swords, just a little bit sharper, a little bit sharper, more on point, more focused, stronger. Like, for all the ways I used to look forward to chopping up the first line. I know this is a dramatic explanation or analogy, but like, that used to be the thing for me. Like, it wasn't even the actual doing of the drugs. It was the, I'm not going to go through the motions. I don't want to trigger myself or anyone else. Not that I don't think that would trigger me anymore, but anyway, I don't need to go there. But that used to be the thing that, like, got me excited because I knew I was about to get high. I knew it was all, whatever was going on was about to get better. Better. Now, I want the refinement. I want the resilience building relationships. I don't want it to be a challenge in a way that it's not flow, but I don't want yes men, yes women around me. I want people that challenge me. I want situations in life that challenge me, because I know this is where I get to see who I really am. Because knowing my identity, knowing who I am, makes not only life far more enjoyable, it makes me uneffable with. Why does that matter? Because when I'm feeling uneffable with, I know that I can do anything. I know that no goal is out of reach, especially if it's a goal that's been placed inside my heart. Which, of course, that translates to my relationship with the Creator, which is a personal relationship. I've said from the beginning, I'm not going to use this show to preach or tell people what's right or wrong. It's not who I am. It's not what I do. But my love of God and my faith will show. But I'm not here to preach. I'm here to talk about our purpose, our gifting, what's possible. I'm not here to blow smoke. I'm not here to blow hope smoke bubbles up people's butt. But the life you were created for is better than the one that most are living now. It's one thing to say that we believe in God, but what's our relationship with God? Have you chosen? Have you surrendered to the purpose that you were created for? Or are you still making excuses for that? Most people are miserable because they're doing things that they don't want to do. Most people are miserable. I'm talking about the miserable people. I'm not saying most of the world is miserable, but maybe it is. I don't know. I didn't talk to everyone in the world. I have no idea. But it seems like all the unhappy people I meet are the people that are doing things that they hate. They stay in relationships that they hate. They stay in jobs that they hate. They keep poisoning themselves because they can't stop whatever it is, whether it's porn, drugs, alcohol, cheating, porn. I think I said porn already. The reason I bring that up is to say that when we do surrender our life, when we do surrender our will for the Creator's will, we surrender to the purpose that we were created for, it doesn't make life easier. In fact, it brings on more challenges because there's a self-awareness that comes with that. You can't choose the purpose that you were created for unless you're tapped into the Creator and the Creator's voice, because that's how you're going to be guided along the journey. And in a relationship with the Creator is where we get the instructions, but it's also where we get the knowing that we are designed to overcome all of the giants in our path, to slay all the dragons. That's where we learn the joy in suffering, because suffering will absolutely come upon you. There's suffering no matter what, whether you choose the purpose for your purpose you were created for or not, whether you choose God or not, there's suffering. But in purpose, well, there's meaning to the suffering. And we get to see it as the gift it really is. Life is a weird paradox. One of the strangest, it's so weird how many things are actually a paradox in life. But there truly is a joy in suffering. And happiness can be a curse, an unfulfilling curse, which is weird to think about because so much of what we do is to seek pleasure and happiness in some way. Yet seeking a road to happiness is usually not the road to happiness. The path of suffering is. Because there's something about suffering that induces a new heightened awareness to gratitude. Like for me, learning the joy in suffering came from losing everything in my life again, but also losing the opportunity to do a lot of the things that I love to do. this last year, since January of 24, been the most, and I went through a lot. Those who read my book, The Devil Inside Me, know that this last year was actually the toughest. Yet at the same time, it's been the greatest blessings of my life. Like, when everything else was taken away, the only thing that remained was the purpose I was created for. I learned gratitude in that, because there became a knowing that that can't be taken. Everything else can be taken and removed from me except for my purpose, if I choose to use it, if I choose to step into it. Talk about a praise God moment. With that realization, I'm like, I can't talk. I can't use my voice. I can't broadcast anymore. I can't do this. And then I thought about everything that I had learned over the years in building this omni-media platform, learning every form of media, what I've been teaching others. I'm like, oh, I get to use what I've been teaching. I had already been using what I was teaching, but now I get to use it in a brand new way. And doors open for me that would not have opened otherwise if the tremors didn't start. I was actually having this conversation with my parents last night, or it was 2 nights ago. Like how, like the further in despair that we are, if we can shift our mindset at all to focus, like to find something that we're grateful for, like we become hyper aware of even the smallest little blessings. Because so many times when we feel like we're drowning, like it's easy to go, I need the big boat to come save me. But really the bigger blessing is somebody offering just the life raft. And sometimes that life raft is in the form of food when you haven't eaten in a week. Sometimes it's a roof over your head for a night to get you off the streets. Sometimes it's a friendly face saying hi when you want to put a bullet in your head. Sometimes it's someone offering an opportunity. I got to tell this story. My first go around in LA, I've lived. LA is a very special place for me, and the fact that I get to go back this week is very meaningful to me for a lot of reasons. But the first time around in LA, I was like running out of, I was out of money, and overhead like you wouldn't believe, and just been making so many bad decisions. I was really hardcore in my addiction still, but trying to run a business, just no business running a business at that time, but I was. And things were falling apart fast. And I was ready to check out. I was going to go out like a rock star. So with the last bit of money I had, I was going to buy drugs and shoot up and then go out like the deviant I was at the time. And like I fully was intending to kill myself. I'll never forget that phone call. It was actually a text. I won't say her name, but hey, do you remember you from the doctor's party? And because I helped put on this birthday party for a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. And because I had a skincare line at the time. And so I was connected to a lot of people through that. And she called or messaged me and said, hey, we have this event coming up. Can you get me some products for giveaways for the celebrities? And I was like, sure, I think I could do that. Let me make a phone call. When do you need it by? 3 hours. Oh my God. Which event is it? ESPYs. It's like, okay. Well, anyway, I was able to come through with a bunch of product, and that gave me access to the ESPYs, which ultimately gave me my first introduction to event production, which through that opened the door to acting, to film production, to everything else. I'm like really shorten the story, but the point is that one phone call, and no one wasn't being offered a place to live. I wasn't being offered money. I wasn't offered anything like that. But I was offered an opportunity. I could have said no. But that saying yes, saying yes changed my life forever, because that opportunity opened the door to every other door that opened. And I'm so grateful for that phone call, because I know how serious I was. One small opportunity. I don't know if it was the fact of getting to be in service. I don't know what it was. Because I don't even think I was thinking, I didn't have the aspirations. I can't think of having the aspirations. I think I was more focused on drugs, and I don't think I was even thinking a big picture in my life at that time. But that one opportunity changed everything for me. And so my point is this. Part of the resilience that, like in building our resilience, even though we feel like we're alone, we're not. God is always with us. And but here's the thing. It's not like God's going to drop out of the sky and save you and like bring you the tugboat and pull you out. No, sometimes God's going to show up through someone else that's offering you an opportunity or offering you the life raft. And yeah, you may have to swim a little bit with that life raft, but you got a little bit of raft. You got a little bit of support you needed. And then you're able to see like, well, gosh, they didn't do it for me. They didn't rescue me. I had to take action. I had to help swim myself back to shore. But I wasn't alone. Like, and sure, maybe it was still hard to paddle myself to shore. I don't like this boat analogy. I'm going to run out of steam here. But I don't, I may not like it. I mean, it was still hard. It was still challenging. Still struggled to know I was going to make it. But I still made it back to shore. Whew, analogy's over. But that's part of the beauty. It's part of the refining. It's part of building the resilience and the strength. It's part of knowing it builds up your muscle, whether you are aware of it or not. You started to realize that I can get through this too. I can get through this health challenge. There's a reason for it. There's a blessing in this. I can get through this divorce. I can get through being cheated on again. I can get through being abandoned. I can get through being lied to. I can get through this relapse. I can get through this shame. I am so glad that I quit. How do I say this correctly? I'm going to shut up after this. Faith is a verb, meaning we can talk about our faith all day long, and whatever your faith is in. I'm not here to preach. But faith is a verb. We've got to take action, meaning the whole name it and claim it, sitting back waiting on God to bring you what you want instead of taking action to get it. Like, I believe in co-creating with God, not sitting around and waiting. And yes, we have to be patient and trust the timing, but we need to put faith in action. And that faith in action is going to lead us straight into obstacles and straight into giants. Don't fear the resistance. Don't fear the obstacle. It's there for a reason. Some of us need to build resilience and more strength. The challenges are there for a reason. Don't run from them. You're resilient. But I will tell you this. One of the biggest magical, beautiful things of resilience is knowing that we're not alone. And we're never carrying the burden alone. Whether it feels like that or not, we're not alone. And that's where surrender comes in. I surrender this to you. Your will be done. Thy will be done. Take this from me. Show me what I can learn from this. Show me how I can grow from this. Show me how I can overcome. Thank you all for watching.